good evening to you traders. Well, we have a bit of action finally on the markets. Do you know what? The first day of the month yesterday, we saw a big old move in the DAX, and today we've seen a big, well, so far reasonably big move in the Dow. Actually, if you look at the DAX, we have a second day of follow through. You know, we talked about this yesterday of just the butchering and the close at lows, and if the Dow didn't do much, that we get a bit more follow through, and we did get a lot more follow through. And goodness me, even the classical bear flag there, which later on even pushed lower. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if people had took a long on this little wick and expect a little pullback up after this big long move, but even those guys were stopped out. You've had a big move. We've had a big move on the DAX from the start of the month, and I'm always wary of start of month moves. But you know, we talked about this and these key levels that are holding, and it's done a little bit of damage to that daily chart, but it's still the weakest index out there when you compare it to the Dow and you compare it to the rest. So let's look at the Dow. The Dow is at that 20 period moving average. Well, it's just underneath it now. And we talked about this a few videos ago about this being a buy level, and you know, I still think that it's potential. I want to see what happens for the rest of the day. At the moment, it's right on those lows. If I look at a 15-minute chart, it's sitting not far off the lows. You know, it's got to do a little bit of work to the upside rather than hanging around at lows. You know, if it starts to close a little bit higher off the lows, then maybe there's a little bit of an opportunity there to take the long that I've been planning for. If not, if it closes at lows, maybe there's one more day to wait of weakness before diving in on the long side. But it's at a key level. It's a very interesting level. Actually, if you look at the S&P Spiders ETF, that's had a pretty heavy day, and the volume's not pretty reasonable as well, and the ATR is pretty reasonable. Again, it's just coming back to that 20 period. I think it all depends on how we close tonight and how we open tomorrow morning. We may, if we look at the DAX and we look at them as a broad selection, a broad market between them, then you know, the DAX may well do one more flush and then we'll find a little bit of a bottom. But let's see. One more thing to look at, which is the big one that I've got my eye on massively, is the US dollar yen. We are so close to that magic 100 level, which the whole world is watching. We are down heavily today after, you know, 2 days ago, real heavy move, then a little bit of a nothing day, now another hammering. You know, it does look like that 100 is on the cards. Will it be defended? We shall wait and see, but I will be watching that with intent. You know, if we break through it, it's like the classical pattern. If we break through it from an intraday perspective, that's the 100 level. If we break through and start to hold below, you know, then there's going to be a scalp opportunity to the short side for me. How it will trade at it, we don't know. Will it bounce straight back off it? Is everyone expecting a bounce? It's going to be tricky. But those are the three markets that I'm watching. Haven't let much look at the stocks because there's so much opportunity going on in the currencies and the indices, and don't want to spread myself too thin. So US dollar, Dow, looking for maybe some sort of, if we get some sort of reversal today, then that might be the buying opportunity we're looking for. If it closes at lows, then I want to wait for one more day. Same with the DAX. I'm not really going to step in here. If we get a little bit more of a flush tomorrow and then a midday bounce, that might be an opportunity to the upside. But let's not forget, we've bounced purely off that resistance level. We could quite easily drift lower. Of course, 10,000's within sight. Who knows? And the US dollar yen, for me, it's going to be a day trade only. If we tag that 100, I'm going to be watching that. I have an alarm set for about 25 ticks away, and as it approaches it, see if there's an opportunity there. But you know, we're in a bit of a classical downtrend here. You know, we spiked up, spiked lower. It looks actually better on a daily. You can see if I draw a trend line in here, we have tagged every single point, and now we're just moving lower. And I guess if you were to extrapolate that, the classical chartists amongst you, you know, we're looking at 98 down here if that channel holds true. But of course, the 100 level is the big level that everyone's watching. So let's see what happens. Take care.